So, as we all know, the Halo show, aka Master Cheeks Incorporated, got shut down in this last week, just generally because it was, well, awful. Now, I'm a big fan of Halo myself, and I'll be honest, I wasn't exactly disappointed by the news. However, I can't understand for the life of me, why is it so hard for people to make a good Halo series? I feel like, generally speaking, this is a common theme with all video games, but recently you've had the likes of The Last of Us, Fallout, Witcher, all make, at the very least, decent TV shows, so there's no reason why Halo can't also follow in this trend. When it comes to the Halo show, there was clearly two quintessential factors which caused it to be as shit as it was. Bad writers and a bad story. I remember there being genuine concern when the show initially aired that the writers of it hadn't actually made any attempt or had previously done anything with the games. And I don't mean as in work on them, I just mean as in physically consume them, play the games, read the books, go into the lore. Don't get me wrong, I'm not exactly a full-on Halo nerd, I can't tell you much of what's outside of the main three games, but I know for a fact I wouldn't fancy working on a show and creating an entire different storyline. I know they have their own silver timeline and all that bullshit, but no part of me would feel comfortable in making a show that is going to be accurate and loyal to what the fans would want to see, specifically when you get backlash from that. Now, speaking of that backlash, which I think is fair to say is clearly due to just a lack of insight and sort of knowing what type of IP you're dealing with Halo, some of the decisions that were made from a narrative perspective were absolutely shambolic. Now, I know that in the first episode, Master Cheeks ripped off his helmet, whatever. It's, again, not something that you ever see in a Halo game, but I understand they wanted to give Pablo, was it Pablo Schreider? I don't know, Pablo something. They wanted to give him, like, the opportunity to shine as the star and differentiate it from the games and have an actual actor there and make it feel real, right? You can't just have a bloke running around in a helmet. Now, I fully appreciate that. However, at the same time, the man is in an intergalactic fucking war zone. This guy never wears his armor. He's a fucking... He's a Spartan. He's a fucking space marine. He fucking... It's laughable to me that this guy is waltzing around just fucking everything out. Half the time his ass is hanging out. And it just doesn't fit any of the source material, right? Speaking of characters that definitely don't fit the source material, at least from my knowledge, again, Halo lore fans, if you end up watching this, please let me know if I'm wrong. But I don't ever remember there being a story about a girl called Quan, who takes up half the fucking show on a pointless side quest that nobody gives a fuck about. The whole character is so unimaginably one note. I'm not exactly like a fucking film buff or anything, but Jesus Christ, give us a bit more. It's like the equivalent of Rose from fucking the Last Jedi. Like, there is zero about this character. And while we're on the topic of characters, do we talk about, is it Marco, that the fucking Covenant human infidel that genuinely, if it was part of the actual Halo lore, I'm guessing would probably get sliced in half by an energy sword? Now, again, there might well be human Covenant in a book somewhere. I don't fucking remember them in the games. I'm fairly sure they didn't really get on very well. And not only is that an aspect of the story, which I guess in a way could become an interesting element, but they fuck Master Chief. Like, and again, we're only at season 1 right now. They got a second season of this bullshit, which we'll go into in a minute. But some of those decisions, not to mention the fact that Cortana sat there fucking watching Master Chief's going at it with this Covenant girl, where was that in any fucking early script? Who approved that? Who looked at that and thought, yeah, that's what a Halo show needs? Speaking of, the name of the show, Halo, when do we actually see a Halo? Like, in a total runtime of all 2 seasons, how much of a Halo do we see? 15 minutes? Maybe? It's nothing to do with the show, and the show's now been cancelled. Now they've gotten to a Halo. It's, again, I'm not saying that this show deserved any more fucking chances, because trust me, in my opinion, it certainly did not. But they've just got to a point where they might start implementing more stuff from the game's narrative. Now, speaking of the game's narrative, this is where I struggle the most with this show. Again, I'm not a full lore buff, I can't tell you everything about every single Halo, and I'm sure there's people out there that can do that much, much better than me. However, I know for a fact that the story within the first 3 Bungie titles, and I would even argue Halo 4 and 5 were even better than the shit that we got served with this show. There is a genuine, start and end point. It's to do with a Halo. There's a general bit of world building there. I understand that you can't necessarily copy the show, play by play, right? And just have the game literally be the show. But at the very least, adopt more elements of it than what you did. Why couldn't that first season be Chief discovering a Halo for the first time? Again, not having to go level by level, but you could at the very least have that be an aspect of the show. Have the destruction of the Halo be the end of Season 1. Or start with Reach. Have a full, version of Reach and how that went down from Master Chief's perspective. I know you've got this whole Silver Timeline thing, which is basically their creative way of saying we can do whatever the fuck we want and it doesn't matter about the lore. But that's such a shallow answer of writers that clearly just couldn't be asked to do their homework. And it's not just that, it's the wealth of characters that you could also implement if you were to do that. Obviously, I appreciate Keyes is in the show, you've got Cortana, you've got Halsey, right? Bruh, where's my guy Johnson at? Come on. That guy would elevate the show immensely. You could obviously have the likes of Arbiter coming into it. You could have all of these other characters being implemented from the game, which are fan favourites, by the way. They're big parts of the video games, and why we love them so much is the characters and the story and the narrative that they all possess, but they don't ever use them. The only one they decided to use, and it's not really a character, because I guess we didn't see the Gravemind, but they did introduce the Flood towards the end of Season 2, and then you suddenly think, ooh, okay, they're cooking, there's something happening now. Again, show immediately gets cancelled, so we're never going to see where that goes, but they started implementing more elements, and you think, oh, this might be good. Again, the Flood were very, very different than how they behave in game, but it was an improvement. It was better than Season 1. Now, there is rumours that Paramount will look to now float the show and see if somebody else will pick it up. I mean, this seems like a dream type of thing for Netflix to pick up, just because they take loads of shit. But I really hope that this dies now. They gave it a crack with the first season, it sucked ass. Somehow got a Season 2, was slightly better, still kind of sucked ass. If you want to make a good Halo show, scrap this shit, start from just point 1, go back to the games, go back to the source material, and just build it up naturally like that. They tried to make a show, in my opinion, they tried to make the show almost as if it was there for a mainstream audience, right? And I get you obviously want to attract the mainstream audience into your show, but Halo is clearly a video game, and when you make a Halo show, the fans of Halo are going to be the target audience before the mainstream audience, right? Please them and make a good show alongside it, and then you'll be fine. Don't try and adopt just a generic fucking sci-fi shooter alien bullshit with fucking Master Cheeks and AIs that watch your shag and all this stuff. You don't need that. Just base it on the game, get those fans on side. If those fans like it, other people will too. Because the games are very popular, so there must be good quality content in there to use. Anyways, that's all I've got for this one. Make sure you do consider subscribing if you have enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more of the Halo TV series.